Tonight on The Real Review.
Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee. Will Smith is Muhammad Ali in Ali.
Sissy Spacek and Tom Wilkinson are grieving parents in the Bedroom.
Robert Altman does an English country ensemble in Gosford Park.
Jim Carrey takes a knock on the head and wakes up in Mayberry in The Majestic.
A Bosnian and a Serb soldier are trapped in a tragicomic situation in no man's land.
Hi, I'm Tim Sika.
And I'm Jeanne Aufmuth. The movies ring in 2002 on The Real Review.
With wit and athletic genius, with defiant rage and inner grace, Muhammad Ali forever changed the American sports and political landscape. Fighting all comers, Ali took on the law, conventions, the status quo, and the war in Vietnam, igniting and mirroring the conflicts of his time and ours to become one of the most admired fighters in the world. Ali depicts the life story of heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali, chronicling the champ's early days as Cassius Clay and his rise in politics and sports, including his controversial refusal to fight in the Vietnam War and his infamous comeback battles against Joe Frazier and George Foreman. Superstar Will Smith and Academy Award nominee writer-director Michael Mann go behind the seismic accomplishments and take us into the heart and life of the boxer, the legend, and the man in their cinematic biographical canvas, Ali.
Are you gonna dodge the draft? I ain't draft dodging, I ain't burning no flag, and I ain't running to Canada. I'm staying right here. You want to send me to jail? Fine, you go right ahead. I've been in jail for 400 years. I could be there for 4 or 5 more. But I ain't going no 10,000 miles to help murder and kill other poor people. If I want to die, I'll die right here, right now, fighting you. If I want to die, you my enemy, not no Chinese, no Viet Cong, no Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. Want me to go somewhere and fight for you? You won't even stand up for me right here in America, for my rights and my religious beliefs. You won't even stand up for me right here at home.
I am a huge Michael Mann fan. The Insider, brilliant. Manhunter, did he make Manhunter? I think so. Anyway, he's terrific. I thought this was a huge disappointment. I thought it was Michael Mann doing Michael Mann, as opposed to Will Smith doing Muhammad Ali, and I'll get into that later.
Kind of, sort of. I went back and forth. My notes in this are, I like it one second, I don't like it the next second. All in all, I think it was an impressive accomplishment. I didn't like a lot of the artistic choices he made. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It was very Michael Mann. It was very, it was very large canvas, deliberate and heavy and
artsy where it didn't need to be artsy.
Maybe,
yeah.
But when it was over, I thought, you know, it was as an accomplishment. As a look at those times, more so than I think a biography, but as a look at those times and as a biography, I thought it worked pretty well, and it managed to balance both of those elements pretty well, and it left me kind of thinking a lot about it, which is a lot more than I can say for a lot of movies that I see.
Yeah, that's true. I did not learn anything, which was disappointing to me. I know about Muhammad Ali as much as the next girl, but I didn't learn anything. I also was really disappointed. I wanted to know about the man. I didn't want to know about Malcolm X. This was a story, I mean, I wanted Malcolm X to die. I mean, I know he was going to die, and I thought, just let him go so we can get on with the Muhammad Ali story. It was very political, it was very religious, and I didn't understand why exactly. It didn't add anything to me, at least as far as Muhammad Ali went.
I agree with you, but I think, from what little I know about Ali, is that was his life. It was a challenge from the get-go to make a story about his life, because he has really no major arcs. Even the performance, the way it's scripted, it's in little cells, little segments, like in the scene that we saw. That was a great scene, and there were a number of those great scenes, but you do come away just knowing that he was a womanizer, he was a Muslim, Oh,
and
another
arrogant,
thing,
although not arrogant enough as played by Will
I
Smith.
thought he was likable the way he was portrayed in this.
Very likable,
But
and that's not the reality.
I lived through all this, and he was obnoxious and
So
arrogant.
obnoxious,
I know,
yeah.
to the point where you wanted to turn off the TV when he used to come on.
And too much of Will Smith shines through. I felt
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith there, and Will Smith is a nice guy, and I felt that. And I think that was the pivotal mistake of this movie, was casting him. It really needed to, I don't know who, Denzel Washington comes to mind, although he's too old, probably.
Well, he doesn't. He also doesn't even remotely resemble him.
No,
Will
no.
Smith does, but he's the wrong physical type. He's not beefy enough.
No, they
I
made
think.
him beefy. The surprise performance to me was John Voight as Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like him. He did a
He-
very credible job.
That was a tough act to do because
Yeah.
it's so hard to not fall into parody when you're doing Cosell.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's been imitated so often. But all in all, I thought it was an impressive achievement. I would go see it again, and I'm giving it 3.5 ticket stubs.
I would not go see it again, and I just have to call it a disappointment, so it's 2 ticket stubs for me. The idyllic Maine coast, circa the present. Ambitious young Frank Fowler is lobstering for the summer before heading off to architecture school in the fall. He's dating a sunny divorcee 10 years his senior, a summer thing that his parents, bolstered by the warmth and success of long marrieds, subtly disapprove of. Happiness turns on a dime when a crisis strikes involving Frank and his lover's estranged husband. The Fowlers' rock-solid foundation splinters, both looking to cast the blame for their deep wellsprings of grief. Actor Todd Field directs this acutely nuanced drama of love and heartbreak in the bedroom.
Oh my God, what happened?
Frank, hold still.
Dad.
This was her husband, wasn't it?
Ex. He dropped in.
You gonna press charges?
No.
Well, what's to stop him from doing it again?
Did you hit him at all? Come on, tell me you hit him. Just so he
Matt.
doesn't do it again.
I don't think I touched him. Ah, Jesus, Dad.
So what are you
Dad.
gonna do?
Take karate?
That is not the problem.
Mom, you know you like her.
I like a lot of people, Frank. What about the boys? Did they see it?
No, they were asleep.
Did you leave her alone with him?
He left first. She was yelling at him, and I believe she had a skillet in her hand.
For God's sake. Did you call the police?
Not yet.
You didn't call them?
Well, he just got in when I had a chance to call the police.
No, Mom, no, don't call them. If you call the police, they'll come over and scare the kids.
Matt?
You gotta call him.
No, we're not calling them. It was a scuffle. That's it. It wasn't serious.
Oh, right, just like the relationship isn't serious.
Boy, I'm conflicted about this one too.
Are you? I'm not.
So well made. First hour, well, second half hour of the movie, the grief is so palpable, and the mood, and just the whole feel. Last half hour, it degenerated into a revenge movie cliche.
Oh,
And,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I
for
like the
me.
payoff.
But
I found
go
it
ahead.
satisfying. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Why did you find it satisfying?
Well, you know, this is hard to talk about because I don't want to give away the pivotal scene, and of course, without doing that, it's hard to talk about the end. But I agree with you that it became cliched, but what I liked about it is it satisfied me. Okay, and that could be cliche. They didn't leave it sort of obscure. This is what happened. This is what he's going to do about it, and I liked that. I liked that, but it was different than the first hour, which is all about the grief and not being able to share your grief, not being able to share this feeling. And this couple was so, rock solid, as I said in the intro, and then wham, this thing happens and it really tears them apart. I bought that. This is every parent's worst nightmare. I will say that.
Well, again, just playing the devil's advocate here, because I do think this movie is definitely worth seeing. And
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, that was more effectively done in Ordinary People. I mean, where a tragic event happens and then it sort of the whole family unit unravels.
The Son's Room too, the Nanni Moretti movie, which will come. That's the same thing.
Yeah, if this didn't have the beautiful technique that it had, the mood and the craft, I probably wouldn't have looked twice at it.
Really?
Yeah, because it took 45 minutes to set up. There's one shocking moment Then there's the aftermath. It seemed like a first-time director,
It
Todd
is.
Field.
Who's an actor.
Who's an actor.
Yeah.
He's a very good actor.
Yes, he is.
Obviously learned from Kubrick. I mean, the fades and everything are right out of the Kubrick textbook, and I kind of admired that, but he was too self-conscious, I felt, of making a really great movie. And there were moments where I never really ever fully got lost in it. That's just...
I'd say...
And yet I paid attention to every frame and went, wow, this is...
I think it maybe just slows down a little in parts. I found the grief once past the real palpable horror of what's going on. Okay, come on. I wanted to like slap them. It slows down and you want them just to, you know, talk about it, scream, throw plates, do something. She does eventually throw a plate.
She does throw a plate,
Yeah, but so for me that was a little hard. I just wanted a little more from them. I thought Marissa Tomei, Justin, our director, he loves her.
Oh, that's right.
Was quite good, quite good.
Yeah.
This was not an easy role. She's kind of left behind and she has to deal with feeling shunned by everyone. It's been, you know, touted as the great American movie. It's not the great American movie.
No, because I think everybody's hungering for greatness in a year where it was limited.
Yeah.
But I think in another year, I don't think this would be getting the notices that it's getting. However, I'm going to give it 3 ticket stubs because it's so well made.
I liked it better than you, but it's not perfect. I'm giving it 3.5 ticket stubs. And stay with us. We'll be back for 2 more films. They are Robert Altman's Gosford Park and Frank Darabont's The Majestic. Don't go away.
Now showing this week on MCMC Channel 6. MCMC's Newswatch with Mike Cobb takes an in-depth look at the issues affecting our community and local people making a difference. Wednesdays and Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. MCMC Sports Action presents top-notch coverage of local high school and collegiate athletics. Be sure to catch Sports Action in its new time slots, Sundays at 7:30 p.m. and Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. For news and sports that hits home, choose MCMC Channel 6.
It is November 1932 at Gosford Park, the magnificent country estate to which Sir William McCordle and his wife, Lady Sylvia, gather relations and friends for a weekend shooting party. Their eclectic group of invites includes a countess, a World War I hero, the British matinee idol Ivor Novello, and an American film producer who makes Charlie Chaplin movies. As the guests assemble in the gilded drawing rooms, their personal maids and valets are busy in the teeming kitchens and corridors downstairs. But all is not as it appears. Neither the bejeweled guests lunching and dining at their enormous leisure, nor the servants laboring in their stark workstations. Part comedy of manners and part mystery, veteran director Robert Altman's latest tale portrays events that bridge generations, class, sex, tragic personal history, and culminate in murder in Gosford Park.
All right, get on with your work. Yes?
Ah, Mr. Weissman, there you are.
I'm dealing with this. What is it, Mr. Wiseman?
Well, to start with, my name is Denton, Henry Denton.
You're here as valet to Mr. Weissman. That means you'll be known as Mr. Weissman below stairs for the duration of your stay. We stick to the old customs here. It saves confusion.
It's about Mr. Weissman's diet.
Yes?
He's a vegetarian.
A what?
A vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat. He eats fish, but not meat.
Well, I never. Doesn't eat meat. He's come here for a shooting party and he doesn't eat meat.
Mr. Weissman doesn't intend to shoot. I think he just wants to walk out with them, get a bit of air.
Get a bit of air.
Yes, thank you. We'll make the necessary arrangements. Now, I suggest you get one of the servants to take you upstairs. Mr. Weissman is in the green bedroom and you'll be sharing with Lord Stockbridge's valet, Robert Parks.
He's very full of himself, I must say. Doesn't eat meat.
Now, Mrs. Croft, we don't want to be thought unsophisticated, do we? Mr. Weissman's an American. They do things differently there.
When did you ever think you'd see Ryan Phillippe in a Robert Altman movie?
I never thought I would see the day. I also had lost faith in Robert Altman. I really had. So many
Really?
of the last, well, Dr. T and the Women was
Yeah,
just
well, I
the
like that. Yeah.
worst.
And then the one before that, that murder mystery was
What was
pretty
it?
good too.
Tell me
I can't
what it
remember
was,
the name
'cause
of
I
it. I
can't
don't
either.
remember the name
All
of
right.
it, but I liked it.
Anyway, the last few I did not like, and so was prepared not to like this and just was overwhelmed by it, except, there we go with the AI problem again. It takes a turn in the last 20 minutes and does this Agatha Christie thing with Stephen Fry as the bumbling, detective, and that got a little silly for me.
It's almost like he lost faith in his material and the way he was doing it, thinking, I need to do it, I need to tack this on. I thought that too.
Yeah, and it's unnecessary, because up till then, just the
Yeah.
drama of the upstairs and downstairs, the maids and the valets and the, all the guests, all spoiled rich people, it was so fascinating. That could go on for hours and hours.
What I liked about this movie is that it was virtually that what was going was it was very uneventful. It was so much like real life. Nothing really happened, but the detail, the way they played out the scenes. It had that quintessential Robert Altman thing, and it's difficult to put into words what he does that makes his movies very uniquely cinematic and in a way where you don't get the same effect if you read a book, read it as a book or saw it as a play. Robert Altman does this thing with detail, with ensemble casting.
He's the ensemble king.
I mean, look who Derek Jacobi has. You barely
Alan
blink
Bates.
and you miss him, and but he's there.
Richard Grant, Jeremy Northam, Maggie Smith,
Emily Watson,
it's just
James Wilby.
unbelievable.
I know, awesome.
But the best is, like you say, with the ensemble and the little details. They're in the drawing room, and there are little pockets of people, pairings off, and a conversation here, a conversation there, mix, and it is just like walking into someone's drawing room. I loved that. And then the whole, they're talking about them and they're talking about them. And I just thought it was utterly fascinating. But it had to be turned into something else. If it hadn't done that, it was going to be on my top 10 list. I mean, that's how much I loved it up until that point.
I was going to put it on my top 10 list too, except I didn't think it was about much of anything. It's like a jeweled trifle, but there's nothing. But it's so beautifully done, and a movie you can go back to, I think, several times. The detail is so amazing. Maggie Smith's character, what she did. I mean, she's had so much contempt for the film producers, saying.
What do you do with a flop? How do you feel when your movies flop?
Well, you don't have to worry. I'm not going to. Chances are, I'm not going to see your film anyway.
She was terrific.
I mean, and in the moments when she was being served breakfast, it's just
and
rich, beautiful,
and their
great
relationships
stuff.
with their so the relationships of the serving people to each other and the wealthy people to each other, but the relationships of the wealthy people to their servants was also fascinating. And then the servants go back and gossip to each other. The whole thing was very voyeuristic. I think that's why I liked it.
Beautifully done. And Robert Altman won the New York Film Critics Award this year for Best Director for this, and I could say he's pushing 80, and this was masterfully done.
If he went out now, he could say he did it with a bang, because I thought this was terrific. But for that last 20 minutes, and because of that last 20 minutes, I can only give it 3.5 ticket stubs.
Only? I'm giving it 3.5 ticket stubs as well.
Peter Appleton is an upbeat, naive screenwriter in 1950s Hollywood. You know the place: Grauman's Chinese, swanky studio lots, and a menacing blacklist creeping in on the periphery of paradise. Just as Appleton is making his name as a cinematic scribe, the House Un-American Activities Committee swoops down on him for suspected communist leanings during his college years. Watching his golden future vanish in a puff of communist smoke, Appleton drowns his sorrows, gets behind the wheel, plunges off a bridge, and comes to in Mayberry, a.k.a. Lawson, California, a goody two-shoes town still mourning for its young World War II heroes. Unfortunately for Appleton, he's a dead ringer for an MIA soldier who's the son of the owner of the town's defunct movie palace, the Majestic. Lawson embraces the return of their native son, and Appleton, none the wiser, goes along for the melodramatic ride in the Majestic.
How hard can it be? We fix the place up, sell tickets.
Harry, look around. It's a dump.
Told you so. I am looking around, and all I see is potential.
Potential for what? This place is ready to fall down. All you'd have to do is walk outside and give it a good shove.
You're wrong. You are, you know. Oh, I know she doesn't look like much now, but once this place was like a palace. Palace. That's why we called it majestic. Any man, woman, child could buy their ticket, walk right in. Here they'd be. Here we'd be. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Enjoy the show. And in they'd come, entering a palace like in a dream, like in heaven. Maybe you had worries and problems out there, but once you came through those doors, they didn't matter anymore. And you know why? Chaplin, that's why. And Keaton and Lloyd. Garbo, Gable, and Lombard, and Jimmy Stewart, Jimmy Cagney, Fred and Ginger. They were gods.
So I don't remember that. I think you cut the clip, didn't you?
Yes, I
Yeah, you did.
Because it goes on forever.
But it got better.
Okay, just go, because I can't wait to tell you what I thought of this.
I liked this film. I loved all the movie references. I love the movie references. It functions as a sort of a movie lovers kind of film. I thought there were a lot of rich themes in it. I think it appeals to whatever your political background is. I don't know why it's not making a lot of money.
Because it's the worst movie I saw this year.
Really?
Is why it's not making money.
Well.
Because Frank Darabont is trying to do Frank Capra and failing miserably because there's no script. The story is ridiculous.
Really?
It's a half hour too long. Shall I go on?
No, I thought, well, let me say, I thought it was the perfect length. I thought it was the only good script Darabont's ever had. Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption, I'm sorry. Those were not good scripts. There were holes all the way through them, especially in Green Mile when he's puking out the bees.
Okay, but the
I mean, that was really
Shawshank
believable,
Redemption?
wasn't it? Yeah, I had problems with that too, but he took the material and molded it into this vision. This is the only time he had anything to really work with, and I don't think it's a really great movie at all. I think it's really flawed. I didn't especially like Carrie. He's trying to be private and yet like show us a different side of him, which is a contradiction in terms.
The Frank Capra side of him, which he should, and don't go there because he can't do it. He cannot.
Well, this movie didn't even remind me of Frank Capra.
Oh my God.
No, it didn't even remind me of.
And that whole clip of, let's put on a show. It's like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. It was an embarrassment. I mean, really. I did like, however, the only thing I liked, the clothes. I thought Jim Carrey's every outfit I loved. And the sets. The sets and the whole 1950s Golden Glow thing. But I couldn't believe how sappy, how ridiculous. Oh, how can you say you like the script?
Well, being the movie, don't you think the message is as timely as ever? The whole.
What? You're dead? They think you're dead, and you come back and pretend to be someone else. What's timely about
the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence? It distilled what this country's all about. I think it was wait a minute. I think it was a Hollywood 10 wet dream. Like they just wish that that's what they could have done. Gone in there, tell the committee to go to hell, and then all of a sudden get exonerated. It was ridiculous.
That was such a subplot.
But being the movie lover that I am, there's nothing I think that is any cooler than running a movie theater, reopening a classic movie theater and living on top of it. I'm sorry,
okay.
I
then go
ridiculous.
Rent Cinema Paradiso again.
No, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It made me think. I got lost. I thought you know what? I can't defend this movie because I liked it. I can't really be objective about it, but I liked it. I'm giving it 3 ticket stubs. So there.
I thought this was an embarrassment of majestic proportions, and I'm giving it 1 ticket stub.
2 soldiers, a Bosnian and a Serb, are stranded in no man's land, a trench between enemy lines during the Bosnian War. Sworn enemies in one of the most shocking conflicts of our age, they have no one to trust, no way to escape without getting shot, and a fellow soldier is lying in the trench floor with a spring-loaded bomb set to explode beneath him if he moves. When a UN sergeant tries to neutralize the situation, the press gets wind of the incident, and the whole thing turns into an international news story. While the UN tries to save face, the press tries to get the story, and the soldiers in the trench try to end their differences and save their lives. The atrocities and absurdities of war are insanely played out in writer-director-composer Denis Stanovich's Bosnian entry into this year's foreign film Oscar Derby, No Man's Land.
Hello, Captain Dubois. How can I help you?
Well, sir, it's the first time that the two camps are asking me for the same thing, and I don't know what to do.
Yes, Captain, why are you coming through to me directly? Where are your superiors?
They are all in Geneva for a seminar on media relations, sir.
I see. Well, it seems from your report that these men are stranded between the two front lines, but we don't even know if they're actually soldiers or not. Is that right?
Yes, Colonel.
Well, what do you expect me to do? I mean, you can't expect me to risk the lives of our soldiers in order to save theirs, can you? I hope I don't have to remind you, Captain, of the precise purpose of our mission here in Bosnia.
Yes, sir, but since it is the first time that the two camps
Yes,
are...
but Captain, you know perfectly well that there's nothing that I can do without the approval of the General Assembly of the United Nations. I don't think the General Assembly of the United Nations is going to convene itself specifically in order to deal with the problems of two unknown individuals trapped in no man's land. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. I just don't have the authority, you see.
So what should I tell them, Colonel, sir?
Tell them that, as usual, neither side can agree. Tell them anything you like, Captain. Goodbye.
I had heard so much about this going into it. Oh, best of the year.
A lot of good buzz.
Yeah, great buzz. Won the jury prize at Cannes, etc. I was really surprised. I liked it, but I was surprised. It's a lot more MASH or Catch-22 than I expected. It's a lot
Really?
funnier.
Really?
I didn't know. It's almost a comedy with political undertones, of course, but I just didn't expect that. I expected serious Serb-Bosnian, conflict, and anyway, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that was funny. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. The scene that we showed was kind of funny, but.
Well, and when the Serb and Bosnian, that bunch, you started the war. I did. You did. I did. Those are all like played for laughs.
Really, you thought it was funny?
Yes.
I mean, I didn't think it was
surprised.
funny. I thought it was realistic and believable.
Yeah.
But I never. I don't think
and the
I ever
language
laughed.
barriers when the French guy,
5, 6 languages in this film.
And
yeah.
when he's trying, do you speak English? The guy says yes, and then he's explaining. He says yes, and he hits
Little-
the guy
little
in the
bit,
head.
yeah.
No, it was a comedy. Well, a tragic comedy, right? So.
It veered from one to the other.
So what did you think of the movie, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I went into it also with the same thing, best of the year and everything, and probably a mistake.
Yeah, it's a mistake.
All the hype taken away. I thought it was a very simple, a very powerful statement on the ridiculousness of war, and the last shot was haunting, devastating. I mean, you would have thought
Oh yeah.
they
I
would
just
have
remember-
given the
yeah.
guy a shot or something,
Yeah.
but they just.
Leave him.
No, that was appalling, but I think that was the point. And,
Because of what's happened in our country, and now we're at war, things like Kandahar, which is about Afghanistan, and this, of course, have taken on new meaning. And I'm a little cynical about that. I think, oh, well, Kandahar, I don't know if you saw it, but no, you didn't see it. Hey, it's okay, but I think it wouldn't be having the same kind of press.
Yeah.
And I wanted to feel this about this movie, but this was a better movie than that. It really, on its own, is a good movie.
And it really didn't matter that it was the Bosnian War. I mean, they refer to it, but it really was about these two. Well, it was more than that. It was about these two guys from opposing sides stuck in a trench together.
Right.
But it also had a lot of political overtones, and it just made some general, I think, pointed statements that we've all heard before, anti-war statements, but we're done interestingly and from that point of view. And I thought it was very effective and that it worked.
Yes.
I as I said, I didn't find it especially funny,
Yeah.
but I can sort of see where you did.
I'm a little stuck in the warp between funny and tragedy, and that made me uncomfortable because I wasn't sure how to feel. But as a movie, I liked it. It is an achievement. It is definitely an achievement.
Yeah, and I thought it was a lot more accessible than I expected it to be. I don't know, opening in cans and all that stuff. It was almost too straightforward in the way it was
That's what I mean.
depicted.
The comic, haha, and it's short. It's nice and brief. So ticket
Yeah.
stubs, I am giving it an enthusiastic 3 ticket stubs.
I'm giving it 3.5 ticket stubs.
Okay, so it's time to
Wrap it up.
that wraps it up for the first real review of 2002. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jeanne Aufmuth.
And I'm Tim Sika.
See you next time.
Definitely.